For months, President Biden and the Biden campaign have taunted and trolled Donald Trump and the Trump campaign with increasing public frequency. And the strategy appears to be working because they just baited the Trump campaign's official Twitter page into an awkwardly childish rant. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bell before you go. I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, friends, we have a couple of clips to play in this video, but I'm going to start with this one here. It's actually a summary from Chris Hayes about a recent taunt President Biden made at a fundraising event. We have no audio of the actual speech from Biden, just multiple sources who participated. But I actually suppose before we do that, I just want to remind you that there had been reporting about this. I mean, obviously, we noticed here at Pondering Politics, and then a few weeks later was officially corroborated that President Biden told his campaign staff, listen, once we get into 2024 and the campaign really gets off the ground, I want to take the aggression to Trump. I want to take the offense. I want to needle and poke and prod Donald Trump for the fact that he's a criminal loser. So Biden has dispensed a bit with the civility politics, and that's good. That's long overdue. Whether we like it or not, civility politics is effectively down the drain, in large part and mostly because of the MAGA movement within the Republican Party. And Donald Trump has he has wielded incivility politics to some success at the very least, right? And it's not going anywhere. And people like me are fed up with the idea that Democrats respond with timidity. So I like this. I like to see the Scranton Joe posture from President Biden in which he mocks Donald Trump over basic facts that are just not flattering for Trump. So I'm going to play this recap of a recent joke made from Biden about Trump, and then we'll get into the rest.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. We're just over a week into the general election now that Donald Trump and Joe Biden are their party's presumptive nominees. And the president is now really campaigning. I mean, traveling to 5 states in the last 10 days, touting his record. Today, he was in Houston, Texas for a campaign reception where he spoke about the booming economy and told a joke that has been getting a lot of laughs on the trail. Quote, I know not everyone's feeling enthusiasm. The other day, a defeated-looking man came up to me and said, Mr. President, I'm being crushed by debt. I'm completely wiped out. I had to say, I'm sorry, Donald. I can't help you.
That's good. That's funny. More of that, please. And do it where it can be recorded and it can be spliced into ads and it could go viral, because that would definitely be a way to humiliate Donald Trump. It doesn't just stop there. So President Biden's Twitter pages, the Biden-Harris Twitter page, the Joe Biden Twitter page, they have been going on offense against Donald Trump. Apparently, for example, Donald Trump gloated on Truth Social. It's my great honor to be at the Trump International Golf Club in West Palm Beach tonight, awards night, to receive the club championship trophy and the senior club championship trophy. I won both. A large and golfing talented membership, a great and difficult course, made the play very exciting. The qualifying and match play was amazing. A large and distinguished group will be there tonight. Very exciting. Thank you. And President Biden responded, congratulations, Donald. Quite the achievement. And this actually, again, before we get to the most recent thing that I mentioned in the intro, this actually provoked a response from Donald Trump's official spokesperson.
Is there something here about the golf trophy back and forth? What's happening?
Well, I think that Joe Biden wishes he could swing a golf club as well as President Trump, never mind win a club championship, which President Trump did over the weekend. But
okay, you're right. Hey, you're right. Donald Trump won a golf championship, and maybe he won it fair and square. Joe Biden beat your guy in an infinitely more important and consequential race, which was the 2020 election, which is why Joe Biden is the sitting president of the United States and the most powerful person on earth, the person who gets to fly in Air Force One and command the nuclear launch codes and live in the White House, whereas your guy has none of that. So whatever, if that's a consolation prize you want to hang your hat on, be my guest. But again, just so weird that, Trump's official spokesperson would feel the need to comment on this. And by the way, there again, the Biden-Harris Twitter page pointed out Trump press secretary melts down in bizarre tantrum over this tweet from President Biden, claims people, quote, wish, quote, they could win a championship at Trump's golf club. Again, it's not exactly something really to gloat about Now, this clip I'm about to show you is relevant to the thing I mentioned in the intro. This is like the inciting event. So this is Donald Trump talking about, or he was giving public remarks in response to the fact that he had to pay. Initially, it was like $475 million bond. And then sidebar, the guy, Teflon Don here, got a Hail Mary again from the justice system in the 11th hour because they reduced the cash bond he had to pay and gave him a 10-day extension. Donald Trump gets to play the justice system on easy mode. He is given courtesies and considerations that no other person would be granted. But I digress. This is Donald Trump talking about that situation.
No, I don't do that. I think you'd be allowed to, possibly. I don't know. I mean, if you go borrow from a big bank, many of the banks are outside of this. As you know, the biggest banks, frankly, are outside of our country.
So Donald Trump says he's allowed, as the Biden-Harris campaign points out, insists he's allowed to take foreign money to pay his bond. Okay? Now, in response to this, this is what the Trump official campaign page had to say. Wrong, you dipshit. He said he'll pay with cash, securities, or bonds, unlike Crooked Joe, who is bought and paid for by the CCP, the Communist Party of China. Now, setting aside the fact that House Democrats released a report revealing that Trump, as president, directly received at least $5 million from China, unlike Joe Biden, right? So infinitely worse than Joe Biden. Note the phrase, wrong, you dipshit, coming from a presidential candidate's official campaign page, a former sitting president, I might add, was provoked into giving that sort of response publicly. So strange. And in response to that, so funny, the Biden-Harris campaign released this response. It's a meme. And another thing, I'm not mad. Please don't put in the newspaper that I got mad. Just a great meme war. I think it's already been elevated higher than the initial tweet from the Trump War Room, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, already, even though the Trump War Room's tweet came out hours in advance and that Twitter is generally a right-wing cesspool. The Biden-Harris campaign, which has fewer followers in total, has gotten a more positive result or reaction to their meme. So it's like just the constant provocations, the needling, the poking, the taunting, both in speeches. We talked about how President Biden refers to Donald Trump as a loser. He constantly hits that's reportedly Donald Trump's least favorite word, which is ironic because no word describes Donald Trump quite as accurately as loser, but also his campaign page and social media. And then public statements as well. So this is the Biden-Harris campaign statement on Donald Trump's press conference. Donald Trump is weak and desperate, both as a man and a candidate for president. He spent the weekend golfing, the morning comparing himself to Jesus, and the afternoon lying about having money he definitely doesn't have. His campaign can't raise money. He is uninterested in campaigning outside his country club. And every time he opens his mouth, he pushes moderate and suburban voters away with his dangerous agenda. America deserves better than a feeble, confused, and tired Donald Trump. Folks, this is the energy. This right here, as a bare minimum, is the energy that President Biden and Democrats writ large, and you and I, need to be bringing to this electoral season. Republicans have killed civility politics, and no doubt they will complain. They'll clutch their pearls. How dare President Biden, how dare the Biden campaign take such a mean posture, insulting Donald Trump. Meanwhile, they're perfectly content. They celebrate when Donald Trump and MAGA insult other Americans, Democrats, people in blue cities and blue states. So I love the fact that we're finally starting to correct this asymmetry, and there's still a lot of work to be done. And I think, for what it's worth, it hypes people up. It certainly hypes me up, right? Does it hype you up? I don't know, but let me know what you think in the comments.